Hello, my name is Keith. This is a series of videos providing a case management plan to achieve personal success. I measure success not by wealth, but by personal goal achievement and self-actualization. This video is about building your history, which will help you set up your goals and develop an action plan. Now, if you do like these videos, please like and subscribe on my YouTube channels, Agency Reviews, Build Your Success, Get Healthy Now, In the World, and also Keith Hindley Photos and Videos. Now, why would you want to build up your history? To move forward into a successful future, you will need to do a deep dive into your past. This doesn't mean to pull up unhealthy or dangerous memories. It does mean that where you have been helps you to determine where you're going. Before you can begin action planning, you need to gather the data of your life. Get your journal out and start writing. For data, the first thing you need to do is jot down identifying information, the names that you use, gender, your family, any other relationships you may have. Who are you? How have these data points informed you? List them and record their impact on your growth. Even my most difficult relationships have helped mold me to become who I am today. The next thing you need is your current description. Briefly describe what your current situation is. You may even just use one word to describe your current life situation. For education, what educational goals have you achieved? This is not limited to diplomas or degrees. What have you learned up to this point? Example, I have my degrees, but I've also learned skills in photography, starting and managing a new business, and also running wellness programs. For employment, what jobs or careers have you had? Your jobs have helped you develop skills and behaviors over time. Every job has helped you develop new skills. I've been a missionary, a case manager, served as a leader at United Way, but I've also learned how to do landscaping, cut fruit, and bag groceries, as well as many other things. Financially, what is your financial history? Do you need to repair your credit? Are you able to save money? Are you in over your head? Dealing with and recovering from major debt has helped me to become much more resilient as I move forward. Housing, where have you lived? Have you been without a home? What were the reasons for your transition? There have been times due to a bad marriage that I have been without a home. I learned how to take the necessary steps to start over and take care of the basics first, such as landing a job, getting transportation, finding ways to get food before obtaining a place to live. And then medical. What is your medical history? Do you have any functional disabilities? Your medical history and disabilities also help define you. I have learned to work around or mitigate my disabilities. I manage my diabetes with insulin. I cope with my contact allergies by avoiding clothing, linens, detergent, shampoo, and other items that would cause me to break out. Criminal. What is your criminal history? I have friends, close friends, who've been in prison for major felonies who are now leading very successful and productive lives. So in terms of my own, building my own history, I have put up an example here, identifying who I am, who my family members are, my current description. My one word for that is retired, but I am starting over again. Where I am working to cover meds and a few bills for developing this new venture of building YouTube channels. My education is listed. I have my associate, my bachelor, and my master's, but I also have skills in photography, starting and managing a new business, running wellness programs, running Microsoft applications, and Google Workspace. For employment, I've had many labor jobs, especially as I put myself through school. I've been a missionary, a case manager, a fundraiser, also vice president of community impact at United Way, and currently a produce clerk at Publix. Financial, my first marriage ended, and medical issues created massive debt crisis that I had to overcome. It took me years to get out of it. Those financial issues also continued with and through my second marriage. But I am now debt-free and very happy to be not having to worry about those issues anymore. For housing was stable until my second marriage. I moved multiple times due to my wife's mental health issues. In 2005, I then started over with nothing at all except the clothes on my back, and then rebuilt my life again. For medical, I have diabetes, I have heart disease, I have contact allergies, to name the primary items. For criminal, I personally don't have any criminal history. So the next thing you want to do is build your timeline. To be successful in life, again, this isn't about fame or fortune. You'll need to commit to the following. Schedule the time and energy to thoroughly delve into your responses to the questions that you've already answered. Look for patterns, low points, and high points along the way. What are the barriers? Create a timeline, maybe by decade, 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts, 10s, 20s. Give each decade a title. Identify your support system. Who is always there for you in a productive and positive way? You can tie this in with your decades. On your timeline, start tracking your success from past to the future. And on your timeline, mark the points that were emotional or spiritual. And go back and review if there's anything that you missed. From my personal timeline, I was born in 57, so in the 60s, I just labeled that my childhood. It was primarily Army bases. I was in a large family. We moved a lot, and I didn't have any real key friendships. In the 70s, during high school and college, I was at O'Galley High School, Brevard Community College, Florida State University at Emory. My key relationships were established at O'Galley High School and BCC at a coffee house ministry. We called ourselves Coffee House Gang. And at FSU, I was with InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. And then at FSU and Emory, I was also with the Wesley Foundation. In the 80s, the term I'll use for that is missionary. That's when I served as a missionary for part of the 80s on into 1990, beginning of 91. During the 80s is when I had my first marriage. My children were born, and my key relationships as a missionary in South Dakota was with the Peary Indian Council. In the 90s, I used the term case manager because that's basically what I did during that decade. I worked at Rescare, Westbrook Health Services, Children's Home Society. I had my second marriage, surviving that abusive relationship during that time, and due to the issues I was having in that marriage, I didn't really establish any key relationships outside of the home. In the aughts, my term I would use for that would be fundraiser. I escaped the abusive relationship that I was in, reunited with my adult children, and basically started over again. I started with as a phone room fundraiser with Millennium, and then on to Fraternal Order of Police, and actually became a room manager at the fundraising center. So that was an interesting time and a learning experience for me. And then in the 10s, I labeled that United Way. I started out as a disaster case manager for storms that we had in Florida at that time, and went from that to manager to senior manager to director, and then finally as the vice president of community impact at that United Way. During this time, I also learned about nonprofit management and allocations, and key relationships were really with specific staff and volunteers I worked with. In the 20s, I will label that's the one we're in now. I'll label that retirement. We moved to Georgia. I started working at Publix supermarkets to basically pay for my meds and a few other things that I need to pay for in order to achieve my next goal of building these YouTube channels that I'm working on. So that's my timeline. The next step in this process is building your plan. The first step is assessment. Which problems do you have are the most immediate? What are your biggest barriers? And list them. What are possible approaches or solutions? You might want to set up a column for that. What resources are available? List your desires and goals. Be realistic. What can be done and what kind of help is needed for you to get there. The next step in that process is goal setting. List your needs and prioritize them. Turn that list into clear, realistic, measurable, written out goals. List the steps required to meet those goals. Identify responsibilities for each step. And develop a step-by-step to-do list, realizing that you may need to change direction occasionally. The next step is in self-awareness. As you're going through this process, make sure you remember or have awareness of who you are, what your gifts and limitations are. Maintain your personal safety. Make sure you're in a safe environment and with safe people. Know what cultural differences that you have and may have in communication. Don't ever talk down to anybody. You're no better than anyone else. Keep your information confidential and only share with your own permission. Do not judge yourself harshly. Remember, this is just a starting point. You are going to make mistakes. The next step is building trust. Allow time for the process to evolve. Tell your story to people that you trust. Be willing to vent your feelings. Don't forget your own importance. Don't allow your needs to be eclipsed by the need to be needed. Do let others, don't let others do it all for you. Developing a dependent relationship robs you of your independence. Avoid preconceived notions or ideas and show love and patience. Don't make judgments and don't make promises to anybody else or to yourself. Prepare for the action plan. Remember that this is just the start of the process. Go back and check your data for accuracy. Identify distractions. Who or what is in the way of your progress? If the distraction is unavoidable, I suggest that you find a way to create your own space. Be an empathetic listener. Ask yourself open-ended questions. Tell your story. Talking is therapeutic. The more you tell your story, the easier it is for you to learn from that story and move forward. Sometimes there are times when you will just have to say no. Either no to your plans or no to disruptions. Don't give up. Stick to your plan, your overall plan, your goal. You need to have that stick-to-itiveness if you want to see it through. Unfinished work means a lack of commitment or desire to change. Always allow for the opportunity for other people to support you. Now, my own example for building my plan is here, the assessment. I know that it's going to take time for me to create videos and build up my subscriptions on my channels. I will have to keep working to produce extra income. My goal is to produce money from my videos and work to assist nonprofit agencies. My goals currently is 1, create videos for each of my YouTube channels. 2, continue to recruit people to like and subscribe. 3, recruit contracts with nonprofits that may need my support. And 4, quit working at Publix as soon as I start producing extra income. The next step is in terms of self-awareness. I have skills in nonprofit development and management, case manager, missionary fundraiser, photographer, managing organizations. I know what my skills are, and those are the skills I want to use moving forward. For trust, I would like to reconnect with business and social media contacts and discover new and exciting new ways to promote my services. And finally, the action plan currently, just simply build and share videos. For the coming months, incur business income, get to the point where I'll be able to quit Publix and do this full time, and then continue building a new and revised contact list. So for building the action plan, the next step in this process is to do that, but that's going to be covered in much more detail in another video. Now, if you like this video and would like to see more of these, I ask you to please like and subscribe. You have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.